Splatoon 3 Sizzle season is shaping up to be something quite amazing. We're now in the period where the Splatoon developers, Splatoon JP, is now sharing news of upcoming stuff that we can expect to see in the next season. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already to. And yeah, let's get into it. So yesterday and today, this morning, they revealed the kits of the brand new weapons coming to Splatoon 3 Sizzle season. Here we have the Super Scope or the S-Blast 92, and they told us that this weapon in particular is going to get Sprinkler and Reslider. Now, the public reception of this weapon in particular getting Sprinkler has been a little bit like not many people have been so happy about it, because I mean, I can understand Sprinkler currently in this game is a little bit just like a, man, I really wish I had any other sub-weapon, because if Sprinkler was to get a little bit of a buff to do just a little bit more, like maybe if it does like the Splatoon 1 like form of Sprinkler where it had like amazing paint radius and just much more paint output at the same time, because I mean currently right now it just feels like the Sprinkler does not paint as much as it could, or doesn't do enough to warrant it as a sub-weapon, which is very understandable. Other than that, this weapon also does come with a Reef Slider, and you know, not gonna lie, I don't mind this weapon having a Reef Slider. I think it actually works pretty well with it. Like, I'm thinking in like particular Splat Zones maps, this weapon could be very usable. The first one that comes to mind is Wahoo World Zones, where you can literally re-slide on a zone and cap the entire zone just with the re-slider itself, and it's just like a really nice initiation tool just for you to actually get into the zone too. Like, I guess if like the enemy team contests the zone while you're in your re-slider, then maybe it's not gonna be so easy to actually cap the zone, but you know, a lot of Splat Zones maps, Reslider can do that really easily. Even Mahi's Splat Zones too, so yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how this weapon goes. I mean, we do actually have some gameplay of this weapon, so I can actually go ahead and show you guys this now. This is basically gameplay of it. So it's like the jumping range is about roughly around just the regular blaster's range, and then when you're just running around and, you know, basically standing on the floor, it's like rapid blaster range. And the rapid blaster range one-shots, which is something a rapid blaster doesn't do, so it's really interesting that that even happens. Of course, one shot when it's directed, but yeah. So moving on to the Painbrush. I love the name of this weapon. Literally, you're going to inflict pain upon people when using this brush. Now, for the Painbrush, the kit of this weapon, it has Curling Bomb and Wave Breaker. I think the running speed of the actual brush itself is not quite like an ink brush. It doesn't move as fast, so some people have been a little bit confused for why having a Curling Bomb is even really necessary. But you know, it doesn't run as fast as an ink brush, so having a Curling Bomb is always really nice. And personally, I don't feel like they're going to be always wanting to be running like that using this brush. So, you know, it just gives it another option. You know, just gives it another option to just cut through ink and just be able to swim instead of run. So I think it's really nice in that aspect. So I think it's just going to be really helpful for just making more openings with this particular weapon. So I'm really happy about that. And on top of that, it also has Wave Breaker. And combining this on, let's just say you're using Wave Breaker on flatter maps like Brine Water or Mahi, just being able to cut through ink with the Curling Bomb and then using the Wave Breaker to clear areas out, and then with the amount of range you also have with the Painbrush too, I think it's just a really strong combination of just a, you know, bunch of things just to really like enable this particular weapon to do a bunch of stuff. So I'm really happy for this particular kit. I think it's going to work really well, and we also of course do have some gameplay of the Painbrush as well, so we're going to go ahead and check this out. And you also get a better look at the, I guess, how much time it takes to actually get the flicking or the swishing out of the brush too. And you know, one thing that I want to point out too, which is really interesting in this particular weapon, is the fall-off damage that you get. It's kind of like how the Dynamo was back in Splatoon 2, but you get so much range out of the just initial swiping, and you get a lot of, basically like a lot of a pretty thick projectile raining down on the people. So yeah, it's like a Dino Octobrush kind of thing, or something like that, or Dino Ink Brush, however you want to call it. I think that particular aspect gets me really excited, because you can kind of just like flick over walls and like kind of just inflict more damage in different ways too. So yeah, this is really cool for the Painbrush. I'm really excited to use this weapon, and I hope you guys are too. Right, so those are the two main weapon kits for the two brand new weapons that are coming into Splatoon 3 Sizzle season. Now, if you guys were taking, or paying attention very, very closely, you would have noticed that there are other weapon variants or new weapon variants also coming into Splatoon 3 Sizzle Season. That some of the other weapons were using certain subs and specials and all that type of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and take a deep dive look into things that you probably missed, and let's get into it, because, you know, some of these kits you may be happy with or you might not be happy with. So the first tidbit that I'm going to look at is from the light Tetra Dualies. If I just like spam the play button a little bit, you notice the sub weapon it throws is a sprinkler. So the light Tetra Dualies is holding sprinkler for sub weapon. We don't know word of it of what special weapon this weapon might get, but we can now confirm that 2 weapons coming into Sizzle Season are going to have sprinkler, which of course is the S Blaster and the light Tetra Dualies. So now this is another clip from the Blaster video, and this is regarding the Anarchy Splattershot Nova. You can see an inkjet flying, but who of these 2 weapons from the yellow team has the inkjet? So the Blaster of course splats the inkjet, and you can see that it's the Anarchy Splattershot Nova that has the inkjet, the Heavy Splatling Deco. You can see the Heavy Splatling Deco on the tower, but what is the Heavy Splatling going to do when the Painbrush starts trying to basically hit it? So we can play the video, and you know, it's pretty clear as day that the Heavy Splatling Deco has a Kraken. Now, is this something to be really surprised about? Not really, mainly because the Heavy Splatling Deco back in Splatoon 1 also had Kraken. Using this information, what kit did the Heavy Splatling Deco back in Splatoon 1 had? It had Point Sensor and Kraken, so we can only assume the sub-weapon that the Heavy Splatling Deco might get. It could get Point Sensor because it's had it before, if it wants to relive its old days. And I'm just saying the Heavy Splatling Deco back in that day was actually really, really good, so it'd be really interesting to see if it, well, I mean, what kind of sub-weapon to get, but Point Sensor definitely pretty high on the table if it's going to go ahead and go back to the past. So, but, you know, still could get anything. We don't have any word of what sub-weapon it has. There's no evidence of, or shown, of what it could possibly get, but yeah, Heavy Splatling Deco has Kraken. Now, in this part of the Painbrush clip, you really gotta take a good look at this, because this only happens for like half a second. But the thing you need to notice is that 3 people on your team is basically up. The light Tetra Dualies is down. But if we play just a little bit, we move up, and we notice an Ink Storm icon right below the Painbrush. Now, this is the indicator of a special weapon being activated as at that point of time. So what this basically means is that your Big Swig Roller, or the Big Swig Express, is the one that is using Ink Storm, which basically we can go ahead and confirm right now. Right, so for this part of the video, you really need to listen out for this. So I'm gonna turn the volume up. I'm gonna hopefully not blow your guys' ears out. But this is also very important, so let's have a listen. Right, so if you listened carefully, there was the sound of an angle shooter being thrown. And in this clip, you can actually see the angle shooter for yourself too. You can see an angle shooter being thrown right here. Now, we already know the sub-weapon for the light Tetra Dualies, and we already know the one for the Painbrush. So it could either belong to the Big Swig or the Nova Shot. Now with that, we gotta go back to the Blaster video, because there's actually another important detail, and we're gonna connect all the pieces together, and it's gonna make a lot of sense. So right here, this clip is very important, so you're going to have to listen out. I'm pretty sure you guys heard that. That is the sound of an ink mine being detonated, and you can see it right around this region where yellow ink is being splattered. So it can only belong to either the Nova Shot or the Big Swig. The funny thing about this is that conveniently, the Big Swig is there and the Nova Shot. Now, slowing it down quite a bit, it's actually really hard to tell which one of these 2 weapons have placed an ink mine. You can see the Big Swig get splattered, but right in the same spot, right here, super hard to tell, but right here with everything covering it, it looks like the Nova is standing up, so it kind of gives me the impression that the Nova Shot is more likely to be the one that has the ink mine, because if we play the clip a little bit more, the ink mine detonates in that same position of where that Nova Shot just was as soon as that Big Swig died. So, just kind of makes me think that Novashot is more likely to be the one that is putting down the ink mines. So, Big Swig potentially getting Angle Shooter and Inkstorm, and Novashot potentially getting Ink Mine and Inkjet. Now onto new game types. So this is on the Splatoon North American Twitter. Ballistics aside, we have an update about the League Battles feature from Splatoon 2. A similar feature is coming to Sizzle Season with a new name known as Challenges. These are exciting new ways to battle with special rules for a limited amount of time, and you can join solo or with friends. A lot of people have been confused whether this is going to be just for like a special event and it's going to be at single time periods, but continuing on, where it specifically says here, challenges can also be tournament qualifiers, so we hope you'll be able to check them out. Stay with me here. I think a lot of people are potentially confused, even myself, I was confused at some point, but they also go on to mention the first challenge on the schedule is the new season challenge, celebrating the start of Sizzle Season. There will be 3 play windows, according to Pacific Standard Time, all times Pacific Standard Time, on the 2nd of June, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., the 3rd of June, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., and again the 3rd of June, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., all in Pacific Standard Time. What I want to mention is that I think specifically they are talking about the tournament qualifiers. For me, I think it doesn't make a lot of sense where you can only play challenges in 2-hour periods, because that's not going to allow everyone to really try it. Straight up, some people might not be able to play during that 2-hour period in that, span of time. It's just not possible for everyone. So I think they are specifically talking about the tournaments or tournament qualifiers or anything like that in the game. And when it comes to the, crazy new modes that could be in challenges, whether it being too many Zookas, the extra jump battle, or anything like that, as they say, the possibilities are endless. I think that the party modes should always be available, and then not just specifically special events, if that makes sense. So hopefully I'm right. I'm hoping that I am right, and if I'm not, then if it is a special event, then that friggin' sucks. Now, where the heck is my league battles? Why can't I go ahead and play 4 vs 4 against other 4 vs 4, people within this game? Now, I've been saying this since the start. It just makes no remote sense for them to include the old league battles, concept back into Splatoon 3 when Anarchy Battle Open is literally right there. And I understand too, guys. Anarchy Battle Open can be a complete cesspool of just randomness. You never really know what you're gonna get. You could get some really good players, you could get some really new players that don't understand what they're doing. However, I do think they are trying to improve on that. And as you can see from this tweet right here, as it also circles, it looks like they are looking to implement some better matchmaking options to make sure that you're within Anarchy power range, so that you'll be matching against other people within that same range as well. Really interestingly too, they're also including this, which is something they also had in League Battles 2, except they're making it a little bit more in-game instead of just using it on the app itself. You can see the amount of power, at the ending power as well. You can see what position that you are in. You can see if you're within the 5% of it too. So clearly they're doing more to actually make Anarchy Open more within, more like League Battles basically. I'm glad that they are doing more quality of life changes, which is also another big quality of life change right here. Customize and continue. So you're going to be able to, change the weapon and change your gear if you're maintaining your group. For, basically the group that you're maintaining. You'll be able to do that. So that's, another just a really good thing that they're trying to improve for Anarchy Open. So yeah, that's pretty much everything we know of in terms of new weapons, the new quality of life changes, challenge modes, hoping that challenges is not just a special event and it's just something you can always join. But other than that, Sizzle Season is looking very exciting. I can't wait for it. I'm interested to know your guys' thoughts within the comment section below, so make sure you go ahead and leave those. And yeah, guys, again, like I said, we're in the period where Splatoon JP and Splatoon NA are going to be posting more news updates on Twitter for the upcoming season. So I'm going to be here to be updating you guys whenever it happens. Like, so, you know, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can keep updated to all of that type of stuff. And of course, like the video. I mean, like, if you like this video right now, I swear, whatever goal that you're trying to hit within Splatoon, whether it's trying to get to S+ or certain X power, I'm telling you, if you like this video and also subscribe just to seal the deal, you will make it, all right? And if you don't make it, then you can comment on my next video and tell me I didn't make it, dude. And then I'll comment saying unlucky. Either way, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I shall see you guys in the next one.